all that noise still here at Uhuru Park. We're still bringing you the news as it happens. Michael, I want to go back to the earlier statement by President Mwai Kibaki, where him together with the Prime Minister, they have paid tribute to all those who participated in the struggle for a new constitution. But also the President has called this an embodiment of new hope for the country, an embodiment of a new future. The President has given his pledge that the Grand Coalition government will remain committed to the implementation of the constitution to the letter.
It would be interesting to put oneself in the President's shoes. He was about 30 years old or so at the point where the first constitution was being promulgated and the birth of the Kenyan nation. And today he leads the country in the birth of the Second Republic. I cannot imagine where he might be and the thoughts that are running through his mind. He shared some of them, and I don't think there might be all of them in his private moments. It must be amazing to be able to see a country go through this. And of course, the legacy that he has now established of giving Kenyans the opportunity to have the Second Republic. Of course, he does warn that we need to endure and stand the test of time. And I think that's where a lot of it lies, in enduring and standing the test of time. But the document is there. It seems to be solid. It's been accepted by the majority in Kenya through a referendum. And now it's all down to living by it, living by the Constitution.
He has talked, he brought out a debate that went on in Parliament yesterday and which has gripped the public for the last few days. The one that members of Parliament or public servants currently swearing their oath of allegiance to the new constitution, but that those who have been involved in allegations of corruption, who have not held themselves to high moral standings, perhaps should not take the oath of office. But however, the President says with the new constitution coming in place, that will be a test for leaders, a new test for Kenyan leaders, and it means that the responsibility of upholding the ideals and the spirit of the constitution now rests on those leaders. So those leaders must carry themselves with the integrity that office, the public office, now gives to them upon the coming into force of this constitution. Of course, the President also telling the people that the constitution gives them the power. The power is with the people to ensure that they elect credible leaders and leaders that can stand up to the test of time.
A silent point left there. I may be very wrong, but with regard to leaders and leadership and integrity and values, and that the moral decision also lies with those leaders, what happens to the past? It remains silent going forward. And yesterday, as you were debating, actually on Agenda 5, the whole discussion of, so what happens now? Do you continue being a minister even though your integrity is in question? You're standing in one case or the other is in question? I suppose we'll find out this afternoon.
Well, it was explained earlier on by the director of the Committee of Experts there, and he was saying that, of course, the Constitution now has the new laws that will come into effect will have certain measures that will ensure that the checks and balances are there. The Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission will also have certain powers that will ensure that perhaps the whole question of prosecuting, actually going through with the prosecutions, might finally come to fruition. But for the moment, we are looking at the Constitution as the basis of moving forward, and I believe that is where everybody will be looking at today. I'm just going to turn around and see what is happening there behind us. Most tellingly this morning, members of Parliament, Michael, took a bus from Parliament buildings. The members of the public were very excited to hear to see their members of Parliament arriving in a bus, and I think that is the bus that is now heading to Parliament buildings, carrying all your members of Parliament who attended this procession, these celebrations here at Uhuru Park.
It would be fair to congratulate the organizers, considering the number of heads of state and government who were present in an open space and the number of Kenyans who came to attend this function, that it's gone on without incident. So congratulations to the military, the security top officials, and also the permanent secretaries who were at the site, coming to give us to make sure that everything proceeds as they would have expected.
The noise you can hear, of course, are those of members of parliament departing in 2 buses headed for parliament buildings as a result of the security situation here. At least 8,000 members of the security forces were deployed here to ensure that the program went without a hitch, and members of parliament did not have a place to park their cars, so they all had to troop into buses in parliament buildings and head towards Uhuru Park, which has been a rather exciting moment for members of the public to witness that. And of course, they were taken through the same security measures as members of the public. Their bags were searched, their bodies were searched. That was also a very telling moment, perhaps what we will see with the new constitution coming into force, the question of equality. Now, heads of state who were here this morning have departed for State House, where there will be a luncheon and they will witness the swearing in of the members of the cabinet. At the moment, still at an all-time high of the number, I believe, until 2012, when they will be reduced to 22 according to the constitution.
Yes, and as we mentioned earlier, that it's going to be a phased implementation of the Constitution, and therefore I think it's 5 years, a time period of 5 years for the complete implementation of the Constitution, and of course there's some aspects that will take plenty longer.